Morning, morning, morning. Right, it is the English of Friday. I'm very excited for our writing, but I'll get to that in a minute. Let's have a look at our do nows. So, the first one. Add a parenthesis of extra information to this sentence. So, we've talked about parenthesis for extra information. Don't forget the appropriate punctuation. He finally answered that he did not understand the question. So, you could put brackets, you could probably put dashes here because brackets are more for like dates and scientific words. This feels more like a narrative. So he finally answered dash after a lot of time worrying that he didn't understand the question. I think that could be quite a tricky one to do, you know. But have a go with it. Essentially, parenthesis, remember, extra information. Maybe it's a relative clause. He finally answered. When he'd have a think. To be fair, if you could think of an extra bit of a phrase to go in there, it isn't really wrong. Write out the sentence again in correct standard English. Now remember, standard English is the correct grammar of how to speak. Okay, Mrs. Cohen would argue that correct standard English is how she speaks with Graf and Castle, but no. We speak how we want to speak, Mrs. Corrin. Sam drinked, but this does bug me, to be fair. Sam drinked all of his milkshake in one go. We should know that that's Sam drank, okay? So it can be verb forms that come under correct standard English. She stirred the cake mixture really good. Now, that is fine to say in everyday conversation, but is not grammatically correct. She stirred the cake mixture really good should be she stirred the cake mixture really well. Okay? And the detective couldn't find no evidence. Or these ones bug me as well. You might sometimes hear people talk like this. Or it's a double negative. Couldn't find no evidence. Well, that means you found loads of evidence. Okay? So it should be the detective couldn't find any evidence. Ooh. It's a little pet peeve of mine, ones like that. So, feel free to keep an accent, but we've got to make sure the words we select, the grammar is correct. Ooh. Can't find no evidence. Ooh. Send a shiver down my spine. Oh yeah. Can you use these two homophones correctly in two separate sentences? Well, you've got to work out what the two homophones are. We've got wholly and wholly. But that's not wholly as in there's a hole. It's wholly as in I'm fully in. Okay? Because whole as in the whole thing. This wholly is like religious. So you might want to put the holy man said a prayer. Whereas this wholly might be, I am wholly involved with this problem, or I understand you'd say understand completely, wouldn't you? But you understand. So, religious, wholly as in you're fully in, okay? Not, I've got a holy sock. That doesn't work with either of those, okay? Oh, Mr. Whoops again, this guy. He's not doing his own learning. He's still doing mistakes. Can you find... he's muddled his suffixes up. So can you add the different suffixes? So comfort, well, that'll be able, wouldn't it? It can't be comfort. It can't be a Y. You can have comfy, but it's not comforty. So that's comfortable, so A-B-L-E. Self... Oh, you could have a couple there. Oh, it's got to be a different one each time. Could be selfless. Could be selfish. Useful or useless, but that depends if you've used less there. I like the challenge that it's got to be a different one each time. And then joyful, joyless. So yeah, try and get a different one each time, that'd be good. And then the last one here. Decide whether before is being used as a preposition or a conjunction. So, don't forget, before, it can be used, it is a subordinate conjunction. But what this question means is, where it is in the sentence, on its own, can be a preposition because it's telling you when or where. The phrase is the conjunction. So, I always call it the newsagents before school. Well, that's a preposition because you've not got a phrase afterwards. Okay? School isn't a clause on its own. Okay? Before... Ooh, no, you know what? I'm not a fan of this question. This is why me and Mrs. Curran don't always like these. Before he left, well, I would say he's using that one as a conjunction because you've got a clause here. Before he left, David put on his thick coat. So that one there is being used as a conjunction because you can put David put on his thick coat before he left. So we've got preposition, conjunction. Liam went before Jill in the queue for dinner, and that would also be a preposition as well because what's coming after it isn't a clause because you can't say Liam went before Jill in the queue for dinner. Before Jill in the queue for dinner, Liam went. That doesn't work. So this one's being used as a preposition because that's not a conjunct. That's not a clause at the end. That's not a subordinate clause. This one is a subordinate clause, so you can say that's used as a conjunction. And then this one here, wherever it's gone, is also a preposition because that's not a clause. Okay? I understand you've got a bit caught out with that one because you're really good with your conjunctions and your clauses. It's just a slightly different question that, to be fair, we've not really looked at. But hopefully, for most of you, that made a little bit of sense just then. On to today, and I really am excited for this, guys. Okay, this video, I think, if I look back, this video is probably the most exciting thing that I'd want you to write. This would be definitely something we'd do in class. We'd have done all of this in class, you know, we'd have done the poetry, but this would be like this could be your best thing you write in year 5 if we were in school. I'm really excited for this, and I'm expecting more than just like a half-page kind of job or a page that's in font 24. This could be very, very good. You know my expectations. I'm not going to talk you through all of this. You might not even see the video for all of this bit. You know my expectations. I really want to read something fantastic from you guys, okay? It's powerful. It's really powerful, potentially very powerful. A lot of emotions surging through it. And there's some it's got music and the images are beautiful. You can really get that down on the page. So, here's everything you need to be focusing on. Make sure your best write is top notch and you are pleased with it. And I really want to be sharing some of these onto our blog next week. Okay, so good luck, and I genuinely am looking forward to this. It's raining at the weekend. I can sit and read them. So come on, send me them. Absolute best. And I look forward to it.